Welcome to the Red Bull Ring here in the heart of the Styrian Mountains for the opening race of another action-packed GB3 Championship weekend as we make our debut here in Austria. This track is known for its fast straights, heavy braking zones and plenty of overtaking chances. The grid is set, the drivers are almost ready and we are just moments away from green flag racing here in Austria. First though, let's remind ourselves of what happened last time in Hungary.
The GB3 Championship returns to Hungary for the third consecutive year. The Hungarian continues our European road trip and its hometown hero Martin Molnar from pole is a first victory just around the corner. We are go for the first race of the weekend. Great start from Fairclough. Nikita Bedrin's keeping the pressure on. Bowser Nellis with a big look to the outside of Campbell Pilling. Bedrin's making the move on Molnar for second. Can he win again? Fairclough's looking strong, dealing with the pressure well. Fairclough will win for the first time in 2026. It is Deegan Fairclough for the second time in his career, taking victory. Superb performance to deal with the pressure. Bedrin in second with Rem behind. His championship lead will continue to grow. He's looking stronger and stronger. Day 2 in Hungary, and after Fairclough's victory yesterday, he'll be starting from second again. Is it time for Deegan dominance? Or will it be Nikita Bedrin once again from pole position, remaining almost unbeatable? Race 2's underway, and it's once again a great start from Deegan Fairclough from second. He'll take over the race lead. Bit of contact there at the opening corner. A couple of cars are gone. Max Rem finding his way through. Safety car is out here at Hungary. Nikita Bedrin, complete domination here in the second race of the weekend. The championship lead will grow and grow and grow. Martin Molnar, hometown hero, was able to grab a podium, but disappointment for the Rodin camp. Their championship challenger in Maxim Rem, a retirement from the second race of the weekend, has to capitalise on the reverse grid. Flynn Jacks led every lap until the last back in Silverstone's reverse grid race. He'll be starting from reverse grid pole once again. Can he do it this time? Flynn Jacks leads from pole position. Dante Vinci on the attack. Big contact in the opening corner. Deegan Fairclough's got into the back of Abby Pulling. Oh, one of the elites has gone off into the barrier. Safety car will come out again for Kyuho Lee. Another perfect restart from Jacks. He's building the gap to Flusha. Final corner. It's going to be a victory for Flynn Jacks for the first time in his GB3 career.
Good afternoon, I'm Jon Jackson here at one of the most picturesque racetracks you could ever come to. Look behind me right now, Styrian Mountains here in Spielberg, Austria. The Red Bull Ring, where 2 weekends ago George Russell, someone that you probably know very well, won here in Formula 1. Just over there, Max Verstappen had that big incident on turn 9 into turn 10. Only 10 corners on this circuit, so drivers have to get it right when it comes to qualifying. We're going to hear from our pole sitter in a little while, but lots going on here in Austria and some fallout from what happened a couple of weeks ago in Hungary, ready to bring you now, as Rowan Campbell-Pilling didn't think he made it onto the podium. However, due to some penalties after the race, he actually came third, just behind his teammate Lucas Flusha at Excel Motorsports, and it felt right that I caught up with him to see how he was feeling after he didn't get to celebrate on the podium. Well, we speak here after you got a podium last time out, although you didn't get to celebrate on the podium. That must be a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, unfortunately not. I mean, good things come to those who wait, and we've waited quite a while now, so it's good to see some of the hard work from the boys and me paying off, but no, hungry for more this weekend. Have you actually got the trophy? Has that been handed over behind the scenes? Not yet, so still waiting for that. Are you going to put pressure on that to happen this weekend? I hope it happens soon. You qualified really well for this race, starting from the second row of the grid. That first podium celebration, actually on the podium, could realistically happen in this race? Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the pace is there for sure. You know, we've qualified at the sharp end twice in Quali 1 and Quali 2, so really strong performance from me, and the team have also put the great car out there for us to do it. Looking back at the races we've had so far this season, how would you rate your season so far, obviously coming into this championship in your first year? Yeah, I think it's big learning ultimately. You know, it's a big step from F4, so we've done a really strong job so far, I think, and you know, double P5 at Silverstone. Can't remember where we're at, Spa or Hungary, but no, coming into this weekend now with double P4 in qualifying, really strong. I can tell you where you came in Spa and Hungary. Hang on a second. Oh, it's 14th. Oh, I don't have qualifying, sorry. Well, you did all right. You did okay. Yeah, I mean, quali's certainly been our strength, and obviously the races, it's such a different car that, you've got much more deg in this, so you're managing a lot more different things throughout the race. So there's a lot more to learn and to develop, but we're doing a good job of that, and hopefully this weekend we can prove it.
And how do you like this track? A lot of elevation.
It's pretty cool. I mean, some of my favourite tracks I've been to in the past have a lot of elevation. You've got Knockhill in Scotland, which is a very short lap, but there's an awful lot of elevation over it, and places like Zandvoort are really cool as well. It's sort of almost a roller coaster with all the undulation. So, really cool track, and looking forward to seeing what we can do.
Well, we look forward to watching you out there. That first ride up into turn 1, apparently you're going to get quite a nice tow, I'm told, from the front row. So look forward to that.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, Rowan, very, very pleased with that third place finish. More podiums hopefully on the way for him. He's 8th in the championship, but actually it's so tight in that sort of second group of drivers. He's actually only 3 points away from 5th in the championship, and Jin Nakamura, who's 5th in the championship, isn't racing here this weekend. So a great opportunity for him to make up some places this weekend. We've got 19 drivers racing in the GB3 Championship here in Austria. Loads of opportunity. Very, very tight at the front. It's a very short lap here, so drivers in qualifying really had to get every single corner of these 10 turns in Austria bang on the money. One of the drivers that stood out to me in Hungary was Dante Vinci, our Australian, who, I mean, has been putting in more and more impressive performances as this season has gone on. He had a 6th place finish and a 7th place finish in those last 2 races in Hungary. So I caught up with him to see if he felt he could make it onto the podium this weekend in Austria. Good to see you again. We're here in Austria, and I know you think this is a good track for you.
Yeah, it is. We've shown really good pace in testing in the past 2 days, and then also in qualifying. Despite the confusion with track limits, it's been a very positive weekend so far.
When it comes to your results over the year, we've noticed a steady increase in those results, improvements, getting closer to podiums. When do you think those podiums are going to come?
I mean, racing is very unpredictable, so who knows? They could arrive in a few hours, or they could arrive in Silverstone or at a later time. It's all very unpredictable, but based on what you just said, yeah, the results have been improving, and we've been taking away more points every weekend, so it could come very soon.
When you're a racing driver and you are ambitious, obviously we have weeks and weeks between some race weekends. How do you deal with that frustration of knowing that you've got good momentum but having to maybe not be in a car for a while?
I think the momentum is a result of just being more in the championship, working more with the team, seeing what we can improve, and we don't lose that over the weekend. So when we come back, let's say to Silverstone in a few weeks, that momentum's already there. So straight away we're there, we know where we're at, and we just continue like that.
What do you need to get right around this track, because it's a very short track?
Probably just, I think, having the right rhythm, having the right flow. Especially, you can make the difference in the middle sector, because that's very setup based. If you don't have a great setup, it's a little bit more difficult. And then obviously in qualifying, track position does make a huge difference.
It's been a little while now since Australia were in the World Cup, but I know you watched the game last night with Lucas, obviously supporting Spain. He must have been a quite happy man last night.
Yeah, he was very happy. We saw both goals live. We were playing Uno actually, and then we looked up at the last second and then saw they scored, so that was nice. He got probably a tiny bit worried when Belgium scored though, and it was a 1-1.
Yeah, I can imagine. He must be pretty confident though, although they got, I think, France next. That could be a bit tricky.
We'll see. It'll be fun to watch.
It will indeed. It'll also be fun to watch you make your progress this weekend here in Austria. We wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Yeah, drivers very much looking forward to racing here this weekend, but also looking forward to that football as the World Cup gets to the business end of the tournament. Lots of drivers from different nationalities. Won't probably talk about football with Aurelia Nobles, obviously supporting Brazil. Not great from her. We can see behind the Red Bull Ring start-finish straight, which was recently renovated. You see these brilliant buildings here, the hospitality suites here, which a couple of weekends ago were absolutely rammed with people watching the Formula One Austrian Grand Prix, and what a race that was. The grid will just about to be getting ready now. The GB3 cars making their way around, so lots to bring you up to date on in just a second. But first of all, we've already heard from Dante Vinci about the World Cup, and of course he said he was watching the race with Lucas Fluscher last night. Not the race, sorry, the match with Lucas Fluscher last night. So let's get his take on that race on this weekend, and of course the all-important big game of Uno they had. Well, we've moved next door now to XL Motorsport to speak to Lucas Fluscher. We just heard from your good buddy over at Hillspeed that you were watching the football last night and you must be quite a happy man. But the thing I heard from that is that you were playing Uno during the game. That's not much of a fan thing. You should be watching the game, right?
Yeah, it was quite not a late game, but a bit past my bedtime. So yeah, I watched the game with Dante and Michael, and we had a very good time. Pretty long game of Uno with some invented Spanish rules. So yeah, it took a bit longer than expected. I actually don't think we even finished it at all. It was like a 20-minute game of Uno or something. Yeah, very fun actually though. And yeah, laughed a lot, and yeah, took the victory on the side on the match. So yeah, very happy about it.
Well, Dante just told me you were a little bit worried when Belgium scored, but it worked out in the end.
No, never worried, never worried.
How do you feel they've got in their chances against France then? Because they're 2 wins away from lifting that World Cup again.
Yeah, I think we've been playing quite well for the moment. Obviously against France, I think it's going to be the hardest match for sure. So yeah, I mean, if we keep playing like we're playing, then it should be fine. Just keep control of the ball.
Could be quite interesting if you play England, of course, in the final. A lot of people in the paddock supporting England. And of course, Spain knocked out Austria as well. So have you got any enemies here, or are they all cool with you?
No, all cool. England's playing tonight, so all the team is cheering for them. I'm against them. I'm going for Norway, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. No, it's quite nice and atmosphere in the team, because obviously Spain played yesterday, England's playing tonight. So yeah, there's always that bit of who's gonna win, but yeah, all good.
Of course, if you don't want to watch the England game, you could just get an early night. We come here to Austria, going back to actual racing that we should be talking about, and you had a pretty good time in Hungary, 2 podiums.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Started off quite well in the qualifyings. With the team, we managed to set up quite a good car. Then in the races, just got really good starts in all 3 races. We were P5 in race 1, then P3 and P2. So yeah, I mean, I think it was definitely a good weekend to finish off, and I think that just it comes off onto this weekend, because it's double header. So wherever we finished, we knew we were gonna start off on the right foot. So yeah, it was a good big positive move also for us to be able to finish on 2 podiums on Sunday, and good mentality for this weekend.
Well, yeah, coming into this weekend, you're going to need to make up a few places to get on that podium again. How easy do you think it'll be to overtake here?
We definitely don't have more pressure than usual. We know we can make it. We have good race pace. We've been making good starts, and I think with the team we just have a good setup in the car. So yeah, feeling quite confident, to be honest. If we get a good launch and just keep our rhythm, don't look back, and just keep moving forward.
And stay out of trouble at turn 3.
Yeah, exactly. That would be quite important.
Absolutely, I think everyone's going to be trying to do that. We wish you the best of luck this weekend. Hopefully more podiums on the way.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, big game coming up late tonight. Of course, the drivers won't be allowed to stay up too late to watch the England match if they want to watch it, because that's on at 11 p.m. local time. And if that goes to extra time, they're not going to get enough sleep for the early start tomorrow. I'll give you more information about the 2 races we have tomorrow, but we're now looking at the cars just in the top of the pit lane here. Martin Molnar starting on pole position for this one, just there in his very easy to spot Rodin Motorsports car. It's the Rodin car with the slight blue accents that you'll see there, number 2 on the track. It's a very competitive front of the field here. We've seen qualifying very much go down to the wire. Martin on pole position for this race will start second in the race tomorrow, and of course you have the usual suspects like Nikita Bedrin and Maxime Rem really pushing as well, with this kind of top bunch of drivers in the championship breaking away slightly from the second pack. Let's hear then from our pole sitter Martin Molnar, who had a great weekend last time out in his home country of Hungary. Congratulations, another pole position. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good, thank you. Yeah, second pole position of the year. Really happy with it. Even in Q2, I was P2, so yeah, really happy with that. Yeah, I got my first one in Hungary, so was really happy about it because I could do it at home. It really meant a lot in front of the Hungarian fans. I got incredible support there, so it was really nice.
Those fans were crazy for you last time out. Thousands of people there to see you. How did it feel to get on the podium in front of them? That must have been a very special moment for you.
Yeah, definitely. It was feeling incredible, and it's definitely something I'm going to remember for a very, very long time. Yeah, I really wanted to get the podium in Hungary because I really wanted to experience how it is standing on the podium there. Yeah, race 1 didn't go as planned, as I made a mistake at the safety car restart, but after race 2 and race 3 went a lot better, so I was quite happy with that.
And are many Hungarian fans making the trip down here to Austria this weekend?
Ooh, I don't know. We have to see. I already saw some Hungarians in the paddock here this morning, so yeah, I was really happy to see them here. Really, Hungary was an incredible weekend, and it's going to be something I'm going to remember for a very long time.
I can imagine. When you go around a racetrack, do you spot those flags even if there's only a few of them, or have you not got time to sort of take your eyes off the road?
I do spot them on my outlap and on my prep lap, but yeah, during the race I try not to focus on them. But yeah, really even during the race, like at the start and before the formation lap, when we were standing on the grid, the atmosphere was incredible. So yeah, it was really good to start the race that way.
Yeah, I can imagine. This track here in Austria is one of the shortest ones that they race in Formula One on. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Actually, it's not distant, like lengthwise it's longer than Hungary, but time-wise it's shorter because a lot more straights. So it's going to be hard to keep a place here because of the big toe that we have down the straight plus DRS. So it's going to be good racing, I would say. And yeah, hopefully we'll have some good race and I can get my first win here.
That would be incredible. We are expecting a very tight battle at the front with obviously a group of you drivers really fighting it out. Starting first, then starting second in that second race, that's a really good weekend. So 2 podiums is your minimum?
Yeah, that's what I would at least want to get. But yeah, hopefully race 3 will go well with the overtakes because yeah, the straight lines are long. Unless there will be a big DRS train, I think we can make some places. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the races. It's going to be my first time racing here as well, so looking forward.
Well, we can't wait to see you on pole position, taking it into that incline into turn 1. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, the car's currently on their lap where they'll go round and they'll grid up behind me in the background here, and then of course they'll have a formation lap before the race starts, and Lewis McGlade will talk you through that in just a second. It's a 4.3 kilometre circuit here, 10 turns. As I say, it was very much well, 2 weeks ago for Formula One it was a very adventurous race there, and qualifying as well with the big Max Verstappen incident, and that race will continue here until 2041, which is why you can see why these young drivers want experience on these F1 circuits, because many of them aspire to be racing in Formula one day. And of course George Russell, Lando Norris, some of the drivers that have competed in the championships in the UK and made their way to the very pinnacle of motorsport. So this is the first time GB3 has raced here in Austria. This is the first race of the weekend here in the Styrian Mountains. So for the first time this weekend, let's go racing.
Race 1 of the weekend about ready to get underway here for the GB3 Championship as we head to the Styrian Mountains for the very first time in the Championship's history. It is, of course, the Red Bull Ring and all its challenges and all of its overtaking potential as well. Let's take a look at this fantastic circuit, that run up towards the Lauda curve, that opening corner where the DRS detection point is opened after they go through the opening corner, and this big climb up the steepest part of the circuit into effectively the third corner at Remus. DRS back open as they head down the hill into Schlossgold, one of the hardest braking zones of the circuit, one of the best overtaking opportunities with it. The double left-hand through the middle part of the circuit before we climb back up once again into the penultimate turn at the Rindt curve. The 10th and final corner brings us back out onto the start-finish straight. It is a fantastic track with lots of overtaking potential. Obviously, the most notable feature around here is its undulation. So many ups and downs over the 10 turns, 65 metres of elevation change. It is a brilliant track. You can see they've completed their sighting lap and they begin the formation lap as Martin Molnar will lead the field away. And for Molnar, he is aiming for a 5th podium in GB3 in the opening 9 races of his career. 10 races, of course. We had one cancelled back in Silverstone. He had a did not start from one of them as well. He is looking like he could be a fantastic talent to keep an eye on in the future here with the GB3 Championship. 19 cars around the circuit and we are ready to go. Let's take a look at the starting grid. Martin Molnar will be the one from pole position alongside his teammate Maxime Rem, of course a winner earlier on in GB3. That was at the end of last season. Nikita Bedrin in third position with Rowan Campbell-Pilling promoted up to his first podium. He'll be starting from fourth. Q-Ho Lee retired from the final race back in the previous round. Deacon Fairclough will start alongside in fifth position with Lucas Fluscher fresh off of another podium finish. Back-to-back podiums for him will start from the seventh position alongside Patricio Gonzalez, who's starting from the seventh. Abby Pulling will roll off of ninth place, and then Dante Vinci alongside to round out the top 10. Behind that it's Rodrigo Gonzalez, who's had a couple of top 10s this season, would aim for a little bit more. Aurelia Nobels had her first top 10 finish in the middle race back at the Hungaroring. Flynn Jackson from 13th position alongside Leon Wilson from 14th. Before we get to the final few rows of the grid, Peter Balzanellis, Lewis Gilbert will be back there on row number 8. Before it's Ricardo Baptista, Jacob Mikulev in his second weekend in GB3, and the final position is Yu Hao Fu. Obviously, the curiosities build for our drivers, and you've got to question yourself as to who's going to be coming out on top in this one. Martin Molnar searching for his first victory in GB3. Obviously, he would have liked to have had it a week ago when we were racing at the Hungaroring. Max Rem, who's losing a fair distance to the championship lead, which currently sits at 68 points, nearly 2 whole race victories from Nikita Bedrin over the rest of the field. And with just over a third of the season complete, going to start thinking about running out of time to chase down our championship leader. For Lucas Fluscher, it's been a real turnaround season. He's had 3 podiums so far, but a couple of extra top 5s as well to go with it. He currently sits third in the championship. Could take over second in the championship if this race goes well. Martin Molnar, who has been dropped down to fourth courtesy of the podium finish from Lucas Fluscher, sits now in fourth position in the championship, 3 further points behind Lucas Fluscher. So it could be now or never for a whole lot of these drivers to start making some progress and start challenging for those higher up positions. Martin Molnar there on the right hand side of your screen pulls his way into his box and waits for the 18 cars behind to find their way into their starting zone before the race will get underway. And it would be a great opportunity for him to take a victory around here. The only problem is leading these opening laps from pole is actually tremendously difficult. The slipstream that's given off from these cars, even before DRS is active in a lap's time, is tremendous on that run up the hill into Remus. All 19 cars are in position. We are ready to go for the first time here at the Red Bull Ring in the GB3 Championship. We are ready to go racing. Martin Molnar from pole position alongside Max Rem. Nikita Bedrin had the best start there from row 2. Not a great one from Rowan Campbell-Pilling, who might be under a lot of pressure from his teammate. Martin Molnar does have pressure from his teammate, though, on the run to the opening corner, and it'll be Max Rem to take over the race lead. Molnar behind in second, with Nikita Bedrin sitting in third. A couple of cars going all over the place in the background. I think that might have been Mikulev, who's had a problem in the background. Could have been Yu Hao Fu, but I do believe it will be Mikulev from further back there, who's had a front wing taken off of his car. Molnar back to the outside, bit of a lock up there from the white and black of Max Rem at the inside of Remus. The outside look coming in. There is also a rear wing missing there, of course, from Aurelia Nobel. So obviously a couple of cars will have to return their way to pit lane. Nikita Bedrin here in the charcoal grey and the red, going on the attack, looking to the inside of Martin Molnar, defended from Rowan Campbell-Pilling on the run into turn 3. And as they go through Schoschgold, it will be Max Rem leading from Martin Molnar, from Nikita Bedrin, then Martin Molnar, and then the XL car. I believe it might actually even be Lucas Fluscher who's found his way up there. It could be Rowan Campbell-Pilling. It's one of the XLs, though, that is fighting over fourth position at present, and the two teammates could definitely work together here to try and maybe do something about those top contingent and maybe steal away the victory. To complete the opening lap of proceedings here, Max Rem is leading the field, but Nikita Bedrin, who's taken a whole host of victories, is the one sat behind. The incident at turn 1 has been noted by race control. They're investigating that one, but no requirement of safety car here. 1 lap complete. It's Rem from Bedrin, from Molnar, from Fluscher, from Campbell-Pilling. It was Fluscher who got past Rowan Campbell-Pilling. There is Abby Pulling making a move to get her way past the elite. It was actually more defending from Flynn Jacks, who's quite had the speed to start this round. Speaking of elite motorsports going on attack, Q-Ho Lee there on the left-hand side. The bright yellow is looking down the inside of Deegan Fairclough. That is for 6th position. Fairclough's on the outside, the number 6. He'll go back for the up and under as they head out of Remus. Now the highest point in the circuit. There is a couple of cars off in the background. That was one of the Ardens. I think that might have been Lewis Gilbert, who has been off the road in the number, was that 26 then? So it won't be Lewis Gilbert. It'll be his teammate in the safety car, not pulled out yet for the 2 cars that are stationary. You do also have Peter Bowser-Nellis in there. I will correct myself, it was Lewis Gilbert and Bowser-Nellis, and the safety car has been deployed. There is Jacob Micallef into the pit lane. Front wing has been changed on that car, and so he will return out to the racetrack and will rejoin the back end of the train. Safety car deployed. We had quite a few safety car interventions when we were racing the last time out, of course, back in the Hungaroring, and it seems like we're continuing as we left off at that point. Communication there between the team, I think, between the 2 drivers rather. I think they're basically settled in. It is what it is, you know. Racing quite hard around here, and there is the opportunity to overtake going up into Remus, but obviously the lockups that go with it, and with it being one of the best overtaking opportunities, you can get a little bit pushy there, and they certainly were. The tractor's over to recover the Arden of Lewis Gilbert and the hill speed of Peter Bowser-Nellis. Aurelia Nobels has returned to pit lane as well, and she will have probably it'll be a retirement surely to that car. You can see it there on the left-hand side. They are trying to replace the rear wing mind of Aurelia Nobels. I wonder, it might not have fallen off completely. It might have been dragged around the tracks. They might be able to get that one back reattached. I don't know how race control would feel about that, or as to whether they would give it the black and orange flag for required repairs if they were to send it back out again, meaning that a result in this race unlikely from Aurelia Nobels. That said, they do get that car out of pit lane. Well, she's out of the car next to it, so I think that probably explains the full picture there as the mechanics look at it. So that will be a retirement from Nobels. Jacob Micallef has returned to the circuit, so it's Gilbert, Bowser-Nellis and Nobels the retirements of the race. Max Rem, though, is your race leader. Did wonder, the inside line going up the hill can be a little bit more preferable, obviously, with it being an uphill braking zone. You can get quite late on the brakes and go full send in that opening corner, and that was what Maxime Rem was able to do. Nikita Bedrin making a good start to get up into second. Martin Molnar, I'm sure, will be bitterly disappointed to have dropped down into 3rd place, as the marshals have already recovered Bowser-Nellis' car, and they will recover here the 26 of Lewis Gilbert. He was around his teammate Leon Wilson as well. That's why I got a bit confused as to which of the Ardens it would have been. But Leon Wilson, I think, just slightly ahead of the drama as Aurelia Nobels will return into the garage. And as much as that rear wing looks attached, can tell you it certainly wouldn't be. And at that point, as soon as you put any load onto it when you're driving around the circuit, it'll certainly just fall off again. So they won't do that until they can repair it fully. It's not like a front wing change where you can just unscrew a couple of bolts, take one off, put one back on. The rear wing, the assembly is a little bit more complicated and takes a little bit longer indeed to get that car recovered. So the marshals nearly recovered with the Arden of Lewis Gilbert. They've already got Bowser-Nellis' car out of the way, and I'm sure the teams will want to get those cars back pretty quickly. We won't, obviously we've only got the one race here today, but we are racing early tomorrow morning, where the turnaround for the teams is not, there's not that much time to get these cars sorted for tomorrow's race. And we do have both the races tomorrow are in relative terms for what we normally race here in GB3, and obviously if you've ever joined us for GB3 or GB4, they are pretty early compared to what we'd normally run, where it's one race around 9 or 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and then another race around 4 or 5 in the afternoon. That race in the afternoon is quite a lot earlier than normal, so the turnaround after race 2 of the weekend tomorrow will also be quite tight. So I'm sure the teams have probably passed on to the drivers to kind of keep it out of trouble just a little bit and to keep calm. Safety car will be in this lap as the marshals did a great job to get Bowser-Nellis and Gilbert's car out of the way, and I can tell you that Jacob Micallef has rejoined the rear end of the train. You can actually see both those high-techs at the rear. Micallef behind his teammate Yuhao Fu. So for high-tech and their chances of scoring any major points here this afternoon, it will go to Deegan Fairclough, who's currently in 6th position. Obviously, Rem will be the one taking the restart. I don't think he didn't have a restart where he was leading back in Hungary, because we did have one from Fairclough, who was fantastic on it. Obviously Bedrin, he's been pretty well experienced with the restarts, and Flynn Jacks had a couple of great restarts in race 3 of the weekend to build the gap to Lucas Fluscher and take his first victory in the GB3 Championship, especially after the disappointments of Silverstone, and got that one underway very well. At the moment, Flynn Jackson will be battling with Abby Pulling on this restart. 2 race winners on our European road trip before the next round, where we return to the United Kingdom and to the home of British motor racing in Silverstone. So the final bits of warm-up going on for the drivers as they await for the safety car to return in. Yes, the lights are still on the safety car, but obviously with GB3 we do actually have radios on each of the cars, and so that radio message will have come in for the team. Right, the safety car is coming in this lap. You need to warm your tyres now. 17 minutes left to go when they cross the line, which will obviously, as much as it's a fairly long lap around here, it's not ridiculously long, certainly not the longest we go to all year, that would be Spa, but the average speed around here is so incredibly high. We get quite a lot of laps in the last 17 minutes or so left of this race. Rem with the control as the safety car pulls its way away from the now 16 car field. Bedrin, Molnar, Fluscher, Campbell, Pilling in behind, with Deegan Fairclough, I'm sure, ready to get himself going. He retired from second place in the second race of the weekend back in Hungary, and of course he won the opener there. He'll do so again. Rem is slowing the field down to an absolute crawl as they head their way through the rim curve, the penultimate corner, and down the hill into 10. Rem is ready, as I'm sure is Bedrin, as is Molnar, as is Fluscher, and they are back racing here at the Hungaroring. It is Rem who will pull his way clear of the field, but a perfect restart from Nikita Bedrin behind. They begin the laps of racing once more. Bedrin is keeping the pressure on the shoulders, has a little bit of a jink to the inside. Bedrin there in the grey, red and yellow as they head their way through the opening corner. Careful not to tap the curb too hard, because it will slow you down on the run up this enormously steep climb. You can see how much we're looking down on the cars from this point as we head up the hill towards Remus. Defensive line coming in from the black and white of Rem as he holds the inside line. Big lock up there from Nikita Bedrin. Looks to the outside, can't do anything there as the 2XL cars were extremely close. Deegan Fairclough was trying to do something about that in 6th position but couldn't do it. Down to Schlossgold now. Can Bedrin do it? Surely the defensive line will come in from Rem. He'll pull over to the left hand side of your screen, the right hand side as they drive down there. Outside comes Nikita Bedrin, and he'll try to go back underneath, but this will leave him with the inside hit through this long right-hander, but the outside by the time they get to the 2 left-handers at 6 and 7. Rem's with the inside line. Can he hold on to the race lead? Yes, he can. He's going to drive it in deep. The up and under once again. 3 corners in a row potentially here from Nikita Bedrin. He's trying it, but gets chopped over the nose of his car as Rem hangs on. Look at that run, though, from Lucas Fluscher for 4th position. At the moment, he runs 3rd position for Martin Molnar in the black and blue. That battle for the final step on the podium. There goes Fluscher straight around the outside. Molnar has gone from pole position to being knocked off the podium for the 2nd consecutive week. Start-finish straight means that the DRS will be active. There's a detection zone at the top of this hill going into turn 1, which means they'll have the DRS open on the run up towards the 3rd, technically the 3rd corner. Obviously it is really the 2nd at Remus. Out wide goes the number 8 of Rowan Campbell-Pilling as they head through the opening corner, and that will leave Deegan Fairclough very close to the rear wing of that XL Motorsports car. That is the closest battle there. 5th position, defensive line there, left-hand side of your screen in the white, pink and purple of Rowan Campbell-Pilling. 2 British drivers going toe-to-toe. Deegan Fairclough was trying to get around the outside. Our DRS active once again down into Schlossgold. The outside line can make an overtake happen, but it really is the inside where you want to be. Nikita Bedrin was close to the back of Max Rem, but obviously a perfect launch off the corner will leave the number 1 car of Max Rem as your race leader. Further back though, once they really switch between Fairclough and Campbell-Pilling, it's Rem from Bedrin from Fluscher from Molnar, at least top 4. That could be changing now. Bit of a look to the inside there for Bedrin and for Fairclough, who still remains behind Rowan Campbell-Pilling for 5th position. Looks to the outside now, does Deegan Fairclough, right in the middle of your shot there. The silver and black and red of Fairclough. By him battling, he's actually pulled Campbell-Pilling off from Molnar up ahead, meaning that gap's grown to probably around the 1 second mark, meaning Rowan Campbell-Pilling might not get the addition of drag reduction around this circuit. He is quite close to the back of Martin Molnar as they cross the line, so he might still get some assistance from it. But he's not going to be getting as much slipstream, and so with that, maybe there is going to be an overtake from Fairclough. Single file racing as they begin the climb again, halfway through the race, just around halfway around this lap, and the 16-car field remains as it is. It's Max Rem, who we can see there in the white and black, squirming under brakes. Nikita Bedrin, championship leader, is behind. Then it's Flusha, Molnar, Campbell Pilling, Fairclough, Lee, Gonzalez for the Patricio Gonzalez, and Dante Vinci and Rodrigo Gonzalez. Abby pulling outside of the top 10 at present. She'll be very disappointed with that. Nikita Bedrin's closing in on the race lead as they head down to the bottom of the hill into turn 4, and Nikita Bedrin couldn't find his way past. There has been a track limit warning for car 18 as to that one being Flynn Jacks, of course, in 12th position. I get the feeling we will probably see quite a few track limit violations coming in from race control, as this circuit is one that does provide a few opportunities to breeze over the track limits. They do a good job with the curbing around here to basically try and make you avoid it. There's a sawtooth curve here on the run down the hill, makes the car kind of bounce around a little bit without slamming it into a sausage curve where it can fly up in the air, which is extremely dangerous. As much as there is one at turn 1, it's a much slower speed corner than the penultimate one. 11 minutes and 50 seconds to go. The top 2 are pulling away from those behind that gap now, nearly a second, and Lucas Flusha is potentially running out of the DRS zone at the moment. He does have the rear wing opened as Flusha, but the moment that Bedrin has built that gap more so, Flusha is not going to get the DRS activation, meaning that he might be a sitting duck for Martin Molnar, who is behind. Dante Vinci, next one to pick up a warning for track limits, and off the road in the background would have been Q-Ho Lee for the Elite Motorsports team. He was behind Deegan Fairclough, defending from Patricio Gonzalez, and went off the road at the third corner. There's a look from Martin Molnar, straight down the inside of Lucas Flusha. Big move there from the Hungarian. Full send as they were hitting the bottom of the hill. And that is Martin Molnar up into the podium position. There is a car stationary, I believe, going at the hairpin of Ramus. And that might well be, there we go, it's the number 22 of Rodrigo Gonzalez. That is a curious point to have a car stationary, and the safety car has been deployed for the second time during this race. Not sure as to what happened to Rodrigo Gonzalez there. Obviously we saw in the background the elite of Q-Ho Lee going off the road. Rodrigo Gonzalez was a couple of cars behind, so as a safety car gets deployed for the second time, you'll see a couple of the cars dropping down. Q-Ho Lee did drop back behind Patricio Gonzalez, and Rodrigo then dropping down the timing there on the tower on the left-hand side as the race is neutralised. Obviously, there's a couple of places where the cars can trip over each other. If Q-Ho Lee's gone off the road and then has rejoined and maybe caused the kerfuffle between himself and Rodrigo Gonzalez, that's, you know, clutching at straws a little bit. Obviously we didn't see the incident, and that's kind of just trying to do a little bit of mathematics between Q-Ho Lee and Rodrigo Gonzalez. Could have been absolutely nothing between them, and Q-Ho Lee could have been nothing to do with it really. He was just off the road in the background, and Rodrigo Gonzalez is out, so you pick your poison on that one. But unfortunately, a retirement. We will only have 15 finishers from the opening race here at the Red Bull Ring. Great to see these cars driving around such an iconic venue as well, though. And hopefully the marshals will be pretty good. They were quick to get Peter Palzanellis and Lewis Gilbert's car out of the way, and they're not in a rush at the moment because obviously they're waiting for the tractor to head its way down to this point. Even more bizarre that it's this far down the circuit as to how Rodrigo Gonzalez has got 90 degrees to the track on the straight, and you have to kind of assume that has to be assisted, because there's no I'm struggling to think of a way that Rodrigo Gonzalez would have had that issue by himself and then pulled to 90 degrees in the middle of the track. You would have thought if there was an issue it would have been earlier where the escape road is. So not too sure as to what's happened to the VRD racing team and to the Mexican driver, and certainly not helping the VRD racing team too much when it comes to Nikita Bedrin, because he sat behind Max Rem, and obviously the more laps run a safety car, the less likely it is that he'll be able to get his way through. It was a great restart though from Nikita Bedrin. got the start down absolutely perfect behind Max Rem. But as much as Rem's restart was very good, just keeping under pressure was Bedrin. If he can do that again, you think there might well be an opportunity for a move. And the only move we've seen really in that top grouping was between Molnar and Flusha. Fairclough has got past Rowan Campbell-Pilling as well and sits in the top 5. And there you can see the damage to the front right of Rodrigo Gonzalez. Maybe asking even more questions. Obviously, it's definitely there's been another car involved for sure. Don't quite know how. Obviously, again, anything that I say will be pure speculation. So we will leave that one into the very capable hands of race control here in the GB3 Championship, and I'm sure they'll take a quick look. The tractor comes over to take that car away, and I assume it won't go into that point on the left-hand side of your screen, as there will be better opportunities for them to get the car out of the circuit. Maybe they want it on the outside of the circuit because it's easy to traffic around. Again, marshals know what they're doing, and we will leave them to it. But as they are rescuing that car, the timer is ticking down. It seems as though we may only get another lap or two of racing from this point. If we were to go racing on the end, at the end of this lap, with 6 minutes left to go, obviously it'll be around 5 minutes probably at the line, maybe a little bit less. We'd expect there to be 3 laps, maybe just 4 of racing, if they're able to get that safety car in at this lap. Potential for that to be the case. As you can see there, the car being recovered and Rodrigo Gonzalez walking over with his car just to make sure he knows what's happening with that, and obviously it's probably been guided by the marshals over to the outside of the circuit there. May have to sit by the side of the circuit for the next 6 or so minutes. Confirmation from race control: safety car will be coming in this lap, so we will get them back to racing. Max Rem is our race leader. Nikita Bedrin in second and Martin Molnar in third. Will there be any major switches between that top 3? Will Nikita Bedrin be able to find his way into the race lead? Will Max Rem be able to hold on for a second victory in the GB3 Championship? All the questions about to be answered. And it took, I will say, Max Rem did slow the field down quite a lot. It took him about a minute from where we are now to get round to the start-finish line by just slowing the field down. And if he does very much the same, then we will definitely only get 3 laps of racing, which is exactly what he'll want, because the opening lap before we get going, once we get going, there'll be no DRS. Once we are racing, it's only the second and third lap, then we'll be back racing. There will be the DRS on the back of him for Nikita Bedrin. So I say there is going to be an opportunity, but Rem's trying to do what he can to limit those opportunities. Once again, slows the field to a crawl, and he went on the throttle between these 2 corners. He's going earlier than he did before. Into the penultimate turn, Max Rem goes. He drags the field back to racing for the second time here in the GB3 Championship. Out wide goes Nikita Bedrin as well. That's going to build the gap even more. And out wide also went Martin Molnar. He worked so hard to get his way back past Lucas Flusha. And as we go back racing again, he might well be passed by the Spanish driver. Up towards the opening corner they go at Lauda. Side by side between the pair of them. Can Deegan Fairclough back out of this and maybe fire his way through? He's going to drag it 3 wide here. It's Fairclough on the right, Molnar in the middle. On the left-hand side is Lucas Flusha as we begin the climb up the hill once again. Flusha didn't probably know they were 3 wide and all of that, as he was only giving a car width, and so Fairclough had to back out. Straight down the inside comes Rowan Campbell-Pilling. Off the road goes Martin Molnar. Campbell-Pilling was trying it. Flusha's come back through and now sits in 3rd position, but Deegan Fairclough might have done the double here and could find himself moving from 5th to 3rd. He's on the inside down of the Schloss Gold as this 5-car pack battles away with Patricio Gonzalez at the rear. Fairclough will move his way to the inside and up into 3rd position, but has he gone a little bit too deep there, and can Flusha come through as well? Molnar will battle with Rowan Campbell-Pilling for 5th position. It's Fairclough for the inside. The silver and black will just hang on to 3rd. Martin Molnar in the black and blue gets down the inside of the second of those XL Motorsports car. That one is Rowan Campbell-Pilling. And Patricio Gonzalez could do nothing about it. Hugh Holy sits in 8th. Then Dante Vinci and Abby pulling the top 10. Rem and Bedrin have checked out from this group as they will have their own battle, I'm sure, at the race lead. But a perfect restart from Rem again. Down at the bottom of the hill, we're back racing. I'll correct myself, it was 4 laps from that safety car restart, because Rem went a lot earlier than I was expecting, meaning we have 3 laps from this point. So Rem's got to defend without DRS from Bedrin, who will have it. Along the start-finish straight they go, and that big climb up the hill. Fairclough's going to have the same problem behind as Rem will, that he'll have some Hungary chargers behind him that will have that rear wing open. And you can see Lucas Flusha does have his rear wing open and is closing in on Deegan Fairclough, who has had a victory this season, as Flusha has in the past of GB3, just not this season. 21 there, that is Patricio Gonzalez, up and under of Rowan Campbell-Pilling. Couple of battles happening at exactly the same time as they depart Remus down towards Schlossgold. Look at the speed advantage from Lucas Flusha in the foreground, who's found his way up into third position, and that battle in the background will have Rowan Campbell-Pilling to the outside of Patricio Gonzalez, and it's Gonzalez who comes through and all that. Rowan Campbell-Pilling now with Kyuho Lee behind, not getting this race restarted with the same pace that he had a little bit earlier on in the day. Rem and Bedrin have gone. They're 2 seconds clear. That lead battle from Deegan Fairclough. Lucas Flusha and Martin Molnar, third, fourth and fifth, will be battling for that final step on the podium. And you'd have to say at the moment, Flusha's restart has been great, and he's definitely the favourite for that position. Flynn Jackson defending from Leon Wilson in the Arden Motorsports team. Wilson there in 12th position. Flynn Jackson, the bright yellow. You'll see the second bright yellow car a little across the line behind Kyuho Lee. There goes Kyuho Lee, and there was Flynn Jackson, the bright yellow in the middle of the shot, and he's feeling a lot of pressure from behind, as is Deegan Fairclough. Martin Molnar struggling to get these races fired up so well. That's Rowan Campbell-Pilling off the road on the right-hand side, and might well be passed by the Korean driver of Lee. But yeah, Martin Molnar obviously starting from pole position, can't quite do it. Here comes Nikita Bedrin though for the race lead. He looks to the outside of Max Rem. Was he able to get through though? Bedrin was trying, Rem had the inside line and was able to hang on. Meanwhile we see Rowan Campbell-Pilling go off the road as Lee was trying to get to the outside. It is close to the race lead. Rowan Campbell-Pilling is going to lose a couple of spots here to Dante Vinci as well. To the back end of the top 10 he goes. But Rem was under a lot of pressure there from Nikita Bedrin, who was knocking at the door and nearly stole the lead away. There goes the look to the inside. Kyuho Lee will keep Dante Vinci at bay. 8th position they're fighting for. Nikita Bedrin straight to the outside for the race lead, and he has done it all the way around the outside of Max Rem, and it looks like it might well be a 5th victory for Nikita Bedrin if he's able to hang on. He's got a minute left of this race, meaning we've got another lap left of this race, and Nikita Bedrin is now your race leader. 7 podiums he could have if he crosses the line at least at some point in the rostrum, but 5 victories be almost unheard of at this point in the season after just 10 races. Bedrin leads from Rem, from Flusha, from Fairclough, from Molnar, the top 5, and Flusha has his own pressures to deal with. We are on the final lap of the race. Rem is remaining close, although looked a little squirrely into the braking zone at the Lauda curve at the opening turn. There's Fairclough in the Rocket-sponsored high-tech car as they climb that hill once again. I think Bedrin's gone. I think that gap is not close enough for Max Rem to do anything. The dirty air being dished out onto the nose of Rem's car. He's going to have DRS here. I'm not sure he's close. If he's not as close as Bedrin was, as Rem will also get a 5-second time penalty for track limits. So unfortunately it's going from bad to worse, and he's actually going to drop a little bit further down. That means that these two are fighting for second position of the race between Flusha and Fairclough. Fairclough looks to the outside, trying to get it all the way around the outside of Schlossgold. In a little bit too deep there is Lucas Flusha, squeezes the Englishman out wide. Flusha hanging on to third position on the road. Fairclough in fourth. Molnar sitting and waiting in the wings in the black and blue. And into turns 6 and then into turn 7 they go, with Nikita Bedrin your race leader. Car 8 as well, getting a 5-second time penalty for track limits. That is Rowan Campbell-Pilling in 9th position. So we're going to have a couple of penalties after this race, as into the final couple of corners comes Nikita Bedrin. He had a double victory back in Silverstone. He had a victory at Spa and a victory at the Hungaroring. And for the 4th weekend in the GB3 Championship, it's going to be a win again for Nikita Bedrin. The championship lead will continue to grow. Bedrin wins from Rem, from Flusha behind. Then Fairclough, Molnar, Patricio Gonzalez, Lee Vinci, Campbell-Pilling and Abby Pulling, the top 10. Obviously the penalties over the head of Maxime Rem and 9th position Rowan Campbell-Pilling will certainly chop and change things in all of that. But plenty of drama here in the GB3 Championship. There goes the update there. So Flusha and Fairclough will join on the podium with Nikita Bedrin, and unfortunately for Maxime Rem, it'll be a drop down outside of the top 5 as well. Not ideal for the driver who is second in the championship. That means that the championship lead will grow to more than 2 races worth of points, 2 race victories worth of points ahead of the rest of the field. Nikita Bedrin's having a fantastic season. And when you consider that before we've even done here at the Red Bull Ring, when we go racing for the next time in the GB3 Championship, obviously in quite a few weeks' time, quite a few weeks down the road, and we've still got 2 more races to deal with here, we return to Silverstone, where Bedrin did have that double victory to open the season. So the rest of the contingent might be battling for second in the championship in the second half of the 2026 season. But for right now, it is all about Bedrin. And to be fair, you've got to say, Lucas Fluscher and Deegan Fairclough's fight there for second, which obviously was for third in the road, was great. And for Deegan Fairclough, in a season where half the races so far in the 2026 season, he has, unfortunately, a retirement to his name. He's finished 4th, and 1st in the races that he's actually been able to complete. So to chuck another podium onto that, I mean, it's maybe not ideal, but it's certainly at least getting some more decent points onto the board. He's at the back end of the top 10 in the championship, and there'll be important points for him. Nikita Bedrin drags the field into the pit lane, and obviously Max Rem, I'm sure, will be disappointed. I can't remember how many penalties he's had this season. He definitely had a penalty, obviously, back in the Hungarian, so it'll be 2 consecutive podiums lost for Max Rem, courtesy of penalties. Yet to take a victory this season. Has had 4 podiums this season. Technically, it's 6. I'm trying to think if he actually had another. No, he's had a podium at Spa as well. So technically, he's been on the podium 7 times, but had 3 of them removed, if I remember correctly. So that one we'll have to dig into the old stats books to find out. I'm slightly sure that's the case. So either way, he's had a couple of penalties this season. I think most of them have been for track limits, which obviously is easily done, isn't it? As Bedrin getting himself very comfortable with 1st place. Another victory from him. Just continues his charge at the top. 5 at this one. I have to go back and see how many Ninovic had by this point last season. He was a very dominant champion by the end of the season, but it didn't start out quite as strong as it is for Nikita Bedrin, as they all wait for the scales. Obviously, as we have every round, but as we saw close up, of course, at the Hungaroring, all these drivers, much like we'd have in Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, drivers have to be weighed, cars have to be weighed to make sure that no one's doing anything nefarious, and all of the weights and stuff are above the minimum weight limits. Nikita Bedrin has been interviewed quite a few times this season, and he's about to get another one from Jon Jackson.
Thank you very much, Lewis. Congratulations, Nikita. I know you've had a podium here before, but that's your first win here, I think.
I think so, yeah. I've had plenty of rookie wins around here, but I'm not sure if I've actually won the race. But yeah, it's really great to be back on the podium, and especially on the top step. We had a really good battle with Maxim, and I really loved every single second of it, to be honest.
You picked your moment perfectly. Was that part of it? You didn't want to lead for too long?
To be honest, no. It's quite tricky to catch up and do a pass here, because if you defend the inside, it's pretty difficult to dive there. But I think I've managed it pretty well, and especially with the time, with only 1 lap left to go, that's when I did the move. Really happy with that. A lot of side-by-side battling this race, which is exactly what I love. So,
obviously, you extend your championship lead as well, and then tomorrow you're starting on pole position. So you've got to think the money's on you to make it 2 from 2.
Yeah, I mean, just get a good start and then manage the race like we did in Hungary, I think. Not too worried about that. I think we've had a pretty strong pace the whole week, so we just keep the momentum up.
Excellent stuff. Well, congratulations on your 5th win of the season.
Thank you.
There we go, Nikita Bedrin. Lucas Fluscher, I mean, we spoke before the race. We were saying that, Spain have been very lucky in the football, and we were hoping you'd be lucky as well, and P2.
Yeah, as I said before, we just had to keep calm. We know we have it. I don't think it's much luck. We're just putting all the hard work we need to do together with the engineers and mechanics, and it's working off. Finally, 3rd one in a row, so yeah, looking forward to more tomorrow.
We enjoyed seeing a kind of pack of 5 cars there at one point, 3 in the front, 2 behind. Do you ever get a little bit concerned that that's quite dangerous, but I guess you can't give up?
No, it's never dangerous, it's just fun, if anything, to be honest. You just have to enjoy yourself out there, do as much as we could, and I think today we maximized what we could have done.
When it comes to this track, it's obviously a very beautiful track, but when you're out there battling it, it's quite hard. Which corner do you feel is the hardest to defend? Because we saw a lot of attack and defend from most drivers in that race.
Yeah, it's hard up to T3, you know, it's a very long straight with DRS and hard braking zone, so I feel like that's the hardest one, because you have to slow it down quite a lot, so yeah, I'd say that's the hardest one.
Well, look, congratulations, P2, and we look forward to seeing what you can do in the second 2 races of the weekend.
Thank you very much.
There we go, Lucas Flusha with Excel Motorsport. Deegan, come around here so we're not in the sun too much. I mean, that makes up for Hungary already, doesn't it, really?
Yes, we would have liked the points from Hungary, but yeah, it was a good race, and to come from P8 after the penalty I carried from Hungary is quite strong. A few little mistakes. I could have probably got round the outside of Lucas, but didn't want to risk it too much. I knew Maxime had a 5-second and just kept it within the track limits, and yeah, we're on the podium, and I'm very pleased, and thank you to all the boys at High Tech and Rocket, and yeah, I'm pleased.
I was just saying to Lucas there, 5 cars and a little pack on the penultimate lap, they're all battling it out. Obviously, it's risk versus reward, right?
I mean, yeah, I was on the outside. I think I decided halfway up the straight, I was like, this is not going to end well for me if I'm on the outside, so I was able to get the up and under, and yeah, we was able to get into P2, and then I lobbed it off at turn 1, and then Lucas got back by me. But yeah, no, I'm happy, and we just need to keep pushing, and we'll look forward to tomorrow.
Yeah, 2 more opportunities this weekend. Good to see you back on the podium. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There we go, Deegan Fairclough, the final of our 3 drivers on the podium. That was a fantastic first race. We were expecting safety cars, perhaps it generally happens on these kinds of tracks, but we got some great racing there, and it really went down to that last couple of laps. Lewis McGlade will talk you through all of the standings as we watch the podium as well.
Cheers, Jonas, and yes, indeed, the provisional race results must be said. We'll see Nikita Bedrin on the top, and it's another obviously great victory from Bedrin. Interesting to hear Lucas Flusha point out something I was about to point out, so that's fine. He's clearly well ahead of the stats there for us. Obviously Flusha having his 3rd consecutive podium, and Flusha, who is the one in 3rd position. It's Nikita Bedrin in 1st, it's Lucas Flusha, he'll be in 2nd, and Deegan Fairclough in 3rd. Apologies for the results not being fully correct there. I don't know who O. Weldon is, and that's fine. Nikita Bedrin is our race winner. 4th position would be Martin Molnar. Patricio Gonzalez is the one in 5th. 6th would be Maxime Rem, not 3rd position, and then 7th would be Kyuho Lee. 8th position across the line would be Dante Vinci, and then 9th Rabbi Pulling. 10th for Leon Wilson. We will check the standings, which these ones should at least be correct, and Nikita Bedrin 257 points, 173 for Lucas Flusha, who now sits 2nd in the championship. 3 consecutive podiums for him. 84 points clear is Nikita Bedrin. It's 70 points for 2 race victories, so he's comfortably more than 2 race victories ahead. 2 points separates Flusha and Rem. Molnar, Gonzalez, Fairclough, Pulling, Nakamura, Jax, and of course Rowan Campbell Pilling behind. We'll see our drivers head their way on to the podium, of course, in reverse grid order. Deegan Fairclough will be the first one to jump up onto it, and an important podium for him. After a tricky season so far, Deegan Fairclough will indeed grab his 2nd podium of the season. It's been a long time coming for him. Lucas Flusha will grab his 3rd in a row. 3rd, 2nd and 2nd again. Can he grab himself a victory? He's already had one before in the previous season. Will he get one now? Nikita Bedrin to the top step of the podium for the 5th time. As they'll receive their trophies, Bedrin's bringing up quite a collection. 7 podiums now, and he's had 8 top 10s. The only race he missed a top 10 in was the reverse grid race back in Silverstone. He finished in 11th position. He's been a formidable force here in the GB3 Championship. which is kind of what we were expecting maybe from that driver on the right this season, Tegan Fairclough. But across the 4 weekends we've had so far, he's only had a single finish in each of the weekends. One in the first race back in Silverstone, one in the second race at Spa, and then of course the race victory in the first race back in Hungary. He finishes the first race here at the Red Bull Ring as well. A first victory for the GB3 Championship for the Red Bull Ring. Our first venture up here in the hands of Nikita Bedrin, as they will get some of the bubbles ready to be sprayed around. We had quite a lot of this back in Hungary, and the teams that sit down there in the pit lane are ready to celebrate along with their drivers. There we go. Lucas Flusha knows how to get it done. That's how you do it. Although you've got to be careful not to break the bottle. That's fine. Flusha getting it all over Tegan Fairclough, all over Nikita Bedrin, all over the team as well that were below. We'll head over to Jon Jackson to wrap things up.
Yeah, here we go. Sorry if you heard some coarse language there. That was due to the surprising spraying of the champagne there, which was, I think, took Lucas Flusha by surprise there. Tegan Fairclough going off a bit earlier than he expected to, I think. So we just see Nikita Bedrin getting his photos taken behind us. You can see a little bit of champagne on the old lens there. We'll clean that before tomorrow's couple of races. They're just getting ready for the next race behind us. But you might already see, like, it's already clouding over slightly. There are thunderstorm warnings around, so you never know. Things could progress overnight. We might have a little bit of precipitation on the tarmac tomorrow, but we will bring you all that tomorrow. Starts just around 9:30 local time. Obviously that means it's 8:30 if you're watching in the UK, and of course you can work it out from wherever you're watching around the world. You'll be able to watch highlights very soon on the GB3 social media channels, and we're going to run down to the pit lane now and chat to some of the drivers that we didn't get to speak to after that race. Maxime Rem for one of them, to see what happened with that penalty and whether he feels it was fair, and we'll chat to some of the other drivers and bring you that before the broadcast tomorrow morning. So as I say, just around 9:30 in the morning, we will kick off with our pre-show. The race starts just before 10 a.m. local time here. So check out the GB3 social media channels. In the meantime, you'll get highlights up there very, very soon. All the behind-the-scenes photos and quotes from some of the drivers on Richard Randall's race blog on the website. So that's the first race we've had in GB3 here in Austria. It delivered with some great action, some great overtaking, and a 5th win of the championship year for Nikita Bedrin. Let's see if he can make it 6 and potentially 7 tomorrow. We'll be live just after 9:30 local time.